Instructor Vechthel's 4 eyes narrowed as he examined the diverse group of cadets from the Galactic Coalition. Representatives from 12 distinct species occupied the sterile white classroom aboard the training station, which was in orbit around Kepler 442b. Each species had dispatched their most brilliant minds to the Coalition's Advanced Problem-Solving Academy, and Vechthel took pride in dismantling their confidence before reconstructing it.
Today, the imposing Zapirian declared, his chitinous exoskeleton clicking as he moved. "We will evaluate your species' approach to intricate security protocols." His mandibles clicked in what could be interpreted as amusement among his kind. "I possess a Corvoxian quantum-encrypted combination lock, deemed unbreakable by traditional methods." Lisa Chen, the only human representative, sat quietly in the back row. Her dark eyes were intently fixed on the metallic device held in Vexel's clawed hands. The lock was approximately the size of a human fist, adorned with swirling patterns that appeared to shift when viewed directly. 12 rotating rings encircled a central chamber. Each ring contained hundreds of alien symbols that glowed softly with bioluminescence. The Corvoxians, Vextel continued, created this lock after analyzing the problem-solving techniques of 47 different sapient species. It includes psychological barriers designed to hinder the cognitive patterns of every known form of intelligence. He placed the device on Lisa's desk with a heavy thud. The average duration for a trained cryptographer to unlock this device is 14 standard hours. The record, held by a Vorthon Sant, is 6 hours and 37 minutes. The other cadets, including the massive rock-skinned K delegation and the ethereal energy-based luminary, all craned their necks to gain a better view of the device. Some individuals murmured among themselves in their native languages. "Your task," Vextol declared, "is to collaborate as a team to unlock this mechanism. You have until the click of tomorrow." The gentle sound interrupted the instructor's speech like a knife. Every person in the room turned to gaze at Lisa, who was calmly withdrawing her hands from the now unlocked device. The central chamber had opened like an iris, exposing the small data crystal inside. Vextel's 4 eyes blinked rapidly, indicating profound confusion among his kind. "That is impossible. I have not even completed explaining the parameters of the task." Lisa glanced up from the apparatus, her demeanor entirely composed. "Oh, my apologies. Did you wish for me to wait? I can reassemble it if you prefer." The Zaphirian instructor's mandibles moved silently for several moments. "How?" he finally managed to inquire. "Well," Lisa replied absent-mindedly, twirling a strand of her black hair around her finger, "I observed that the lock was engineered to counter systematic thought processes." Right. Each ring was intended to thwart various methods, including mathematical, logical, intuitive, and even psionic approaches. However, the designers made an assumption. She lifted the lock and began to demonstrate, her fingers moving with practiced skill. They presumed that any intelligence attempting to unlock it would treat it as a puzzle to be solved. But humans excel at recognizing when something is not as it seems. The Karn delegate, a massive creature named Gorthak, rumbled. "Explain." "It is not genuinely a lock," Lisa stated plainly. "It is a psychological assessment disguised as a security mechanism. Observe the wear patterns on the rings. They are entirely artificial. This object has never truly secured anything of significance. The actual mechanism is considerably more straightforward." She turned the device over, exposing what appeared to be ornamental etchings on the underside. "Do you see these markings? They are not arbitrary.
They are instructions inscribed in Korvaroxian's ceremonial script. Essentially, it states, "Grip firmly and twist counterclockwise." While contemplating the notion of openness, Vextal's exoskeleton began to vibrate, indicating profound distress. However, the psychological barriers only function if one believes they are genuine, Lisa interjected softly. Humans possess this irritating tendency to question everything, particularly authority. When you informed us that this was an unbreakable lock that had perplexed geniuses for hours, my initial thought was, what if it isn't? She raised the device, which had somehow reassembled itself during her explanation. The Korvaxians are renowned for their philosophical perspectives on security. They would not create a lock that merely kept individuals out. Instead, they would design one that led individuals to believe they could not gain entry. The Luminari representative, a being of pure energy encapsulated within a crystalline structure, radiated curiosity. But how did you decipher the ceremonial script? Korvaxian writing is not part of the curriculum in human educational institutions. Lisa smiled. I did not read it. I captured an image with my neural implant and processed it through a translation matrix while Instructor Vextal was still speaking. It took approximately 12 seconds to recognize the language and an additional 8 to translate it. 20 seconds? Thais, the snake-like Sithak cadet, exhaled. You solved it in 20 seconds. Actually, Lisa remarked, glancing at her chronometer, it was closer to 15, but who was keeping track? Instructor Vexthal made his way to the front of the classroom, his movements somewhat unsteady. He had trained thousands of cadets from various parts of the galaxy, had encountered problem-solving methods that were mind-boggling, and had observed displays of intelligence that reshaped his comprehension of sapience itself. But he had never encountered a species so inherently inclined to believe that the experts were mistaken. Class dismissed, he stated softly. All except Cadet Chen. We need to have a discussion. As the other students exited, chatting animatedly in numerous languages, Lisa stayed seated, casually twirling the combination lock between her fingers as if it were a toy. Tell me, human, Vexthal inquired, settling his large frame into the instructor's chair. Is this behavior typical of your species? Lisa pondered the question earnestly. Are you referring to the distrust of authority or the tendency to solve problems too quickly? Both. Well, she replied, we once had an individual who dropped out of college and subsequently transformed computing from his garage. There was another who believed he could create electric cars superior to those produced by companies that had been in the industry for a century. And he was correct. Oh, and there was an instance when we examined the quickest route to space and concluded that the optimal method was to land the rocket boosters back on small floating platforms in the ocean. Vechthal's mandibles clicked in contemplation. And this works for your species? Sometimes it does spectacularly, Lisa conceded. Occasionally we cause explosions, but we eventually find solutions. She raised the lock once more. The reality is, we do not truly believe in the impossible, just in things we have yet to understand. The instructor remained silent for a considerable time. At last, he spoke. Cadet Chen, I believe your species will either be the salvation or the downfall of the Galactic Coalition. Lisa smiled. Why not both? As she exited the classroom, the combination lock effortlessly reassembling and disassembling in her hands. Instructor Vextol recorded a note in his report. He recommended the immediate acceleration of human integration into the coalition command structure. He also suggested updating all security protocols. Humans seem to be inherently incapable of accepting that anything is impossible. Behind him, the classroom's quantum-encrypted door, which was supposedly impenetrable to anyone lacking proper authorization, swung open as Lisa called back, "Oh, and Professor, you might want to change the lock on your office door." The quantum encryption is merely a sophisticated way of saying, "Please knock first," in ancient Terran binary code. I am surprised anyone was deceived by that. The door closed with a soft hiss, leaving Instructor Vextol alone with the disquieting realization that humans had been studying the Coalition for a far longer time than the Coalition had been studying them, and they were exceptionally skilled at it.